Hi, fifth grade families. How's everybody doing today? It's your friendly neighborhood, Mr. Benner. I hope everything's good. Going to go through this finding volume of composed figures because it can be a little bit, mind bending. So we're going to go over it. So how can you find the volume of rectangular prisms that are combined? There's two methods. There's the using addition, which is the most common. So we would take the two figures that are combined, right? And then find the volume of this one and find the volume of this one, and then add that together. So that's way one. Okay, so let's go over that. So you would take these two solid rectangular prisms and find the volume of each. So we know volume is length times width times height. All right. The length times the width times the height. So you can see they've broken these two pieces apart, just like we would do. So let's get my little magic pen here. So they're taking this rectangular prism and then this rectangular prism separately. Now, some of you might say, well, wait a minute. I see it differently. I see this is a rectangular prism here, right? And then this is a rectangular prism here. That's fine as long as you're using the measurements, okay, that are commensurate to that. Oops. I don't know why that's doing that. Anyway, all right. So as long as you're using the measurements, so you would have to do 6 by 2, right? The length times the width. Well, sorry, the width would be 4. You'd have to do 6 by 2 by 4 to find this. And then this would be shortened by 2. So it would be 8 by 2 by 4. So you just have to, if you're going to change which piece you see, you just have to change the measurements. That's all. So let's take a look here. Well, I think we got a little pre-work done here, just so we can save some time. So we can see, to find the volume of the first figure, we're going to do the length, right, which is the longer piece, about 4, and then the width, which is 2, and then the height, which again is 4. Let's see, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32, so 32. Let me grab my eraser here so I can, I think it's a little too much green work here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and then on this side, we're going to do this figure here. So length 10, width 4, height 2. 10 times 4 is 40. 40 times 2 is 80. So then to say the overall volume of this original figure, we of course are going to have to add these two numbers together. So let's say 80 plus 32. Get my little pen here. Okay, so we're going to say 80 plus 32. 2 in the ones. 11. 112 inches cubed. And as we know, right, inches cubed is volume, because what we're really saying is how many cubes of 1-inch sides will fit into this figure. So, in these two separate ones, 32 cubes will fit in here. 80 1-inch cubes would fit in here. Together, there would be 112 1-inch cubes. Let's look at our next one. So another way is subtraction, and it's finding the overall with the missing piece and then subtracting that. So as you can see here, it says, find the length, the width, height overall, and then the total volume. And then step 2 would be thinking, okay, I've got this blank space here and I need to subtract that out. Okay. So we can go over how to do that pretty quickly here. So let's talk about it again. As we just said, what you're going to do is you're going to think of this as there, like that piece is there, and find the overall volume for the whole thing, and then subtract this piece out. Okay, so overall it's 5 for the height, 8 for the width, and then we got 5 by 8 by 4. Okay. All right. 5 times 8, 40. 40 times 4, right? 4 times 4, front end, 16, 160. So the total volume of this figure would be 160. But we don't have the whole figure. We got to take out this piece here. So now we need to figure out, well, how big's this piece? Well, we can do that with just like a little bit of thinking here. This whole thing is 8. We have to take out this 2 here to find out what this is. So we know this is 6, right? 6 right here. Well, what's the height going to be? The whole thing is 5. We have to take out this 2 here. So we know that the height here is 3. And then the width is the same. The width stays 4. So let's look what we have. We have 6 by 3 by 4. Okay, order of operations, 6 times 3, 18. 18 times 4, 32. 4, 5, 6, 7, 72. So we know this piece is 72. That's the volume of this piece. So we need to take the volume of that piece away from the total volume we found. 0. Okay, we know we don't have enough 10s here, so we're going to, right? So this becomes 16, right? Take that 100, add the 10s. So we know that's 16 minus 7 is 9. Right? And so our total volume of the piece that's left after we subtract this is 90, right? Inches. We're measuring in inches cubed. And what that means is this whole overall piece, we know that there would be 160 inches cubed for this whole thing with the imagined piece here. But when we figure out what that imagined piece is and then subtract it from the total, we get 90 inches cubes. I mean, just in this piece here, 90 cubes of 1 inch by 1 inch would fit in there. All right? That's the subtraction method. So this is another example. Find the volume of the composite figure. We can do it either way. Let's use the addition piece. Let's use the addition puzzle here. So what I want to do is I'm going to do this piece first. Okay. And I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to close that. I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to choose the size of my first piece. I want to cut it here. I like this. That makes sense to me. Okay. So I'm going to have to figure out now what the length, the width, and the height is so I can find the volume of this separate piece that I'm going to extract. So I know it's 10 long, so this must be 10 long. So 10 is the length. It's my longest side. The width here, it tells me is 3. So I know that the width over here is 3. 10 by 3. Okay. And the height of the whole figure is 2. So I know that the height's going to be 2. So we've got 10 times 3, which is 30. 30 times 2 is 60. So we do the order of operations, right? So 60 for this piece, centimeters cubed. Now it matters. The measurements matter. We're not doing inches this time. We're doing centimeters. Much smaller, right? Well, smaller. So now I have this piece here to contend with. Well, I know from here to here is 8 inches. So reflective, I know in a rectangular prism, I know this side is the same. So this side must be 8 centimeters. Okay. And then this, I know the height is 2 and the width is 3. So I'm going to figure out what this figure is because I know this piece is 60 centimeters cubed. I'm going to say, okay, so I know it's 8. It's the longest side. The width is 3. And the height is 2. Let's employ our order of operations again. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 times 2 would be 48 centimeters cubed. So this one's 48. So to figure out the overall volume, the composite, which means putting together, composite materials means combined, right? Composition. Some English for you. throwing some English skills at you. So we combine those. We do 60 plus 48. We've got an 8 in the ones. Yeah, 6 plus 4 is 10. That's 108 centimeters cubed for the total figure. Okay, that's how you'd find the total volume. Now, let me see if it'll give me another. I think it gives me one more. Yeah. So here, we're going to do this one using subtraction because we just did that one using addition, and then we'll have two separate. So now I want to find out, remember, for the subtraction piece, we need to find what the whole figure would be and then subtract the imaginary piece that I'm making right now. Okay. What would this whole length be, the longest piece? Okay, the whole length is 14. And as I'm doing this whole rectangular prism now. This whole side is 14. What would the width be? The whole width is 12 across all the way. And then the height of the whole thing would be 8. So I'm going to do some math here. Let's do 14 times 12. Let's do the standard algorithm here. 8 ones, 20 tens. Now I'm doing 10 times 4, which is 40. Right? And I got my 0 here, 40. All right, now I'm doing 40. I'm doing 1 times 1, which is 1. I add that. Everybody makes mistakes, remember. 8. I've got a 6. I've got a 1. 168. Now that 68 times 8. 8 times 8 is 64. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 6. 52. Wait, 48. 54, sorry. No, sorry, I'll just make that 4. Right? 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 5. 15. Wow, that's a big one, right? It's 1,344. Now that's the total volume. Now we've got to really get this out of there. We don't want that in there. Okay, so let's find out what that smaller figure is. Well, what is this piece here? If the whole thing is 8, right? And I know this is 3. Well, 8 minus 3 is 5. So I know that this is 5 inches. All right, and this length is going to stay 14. I know this piece is 14. So I've got the length. I've got the height. I just need the width now. I need this width here. And we know it tells us right here it's 8, right? So we've got 8 times 5 times 14. And as you know, in multiplication, the order doesn't really matter. So 8 times 5 is 40. I know that. 40 times 14. Well, let's do a little front-end estimation. So 14. Let's do 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Right? It's 56. And I know that I have to add that place value in. So it's 560. So we know that this piece here, right here, is 560. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that away from my total to find out what that missing piece is for. Got to regroup here. Got to regroup here. Got to regroup here. This becomes 13. Becomes 12. This becomes 14. 8. Right? 14 minus 6 is 8. 12 minus 5 is 7. Right? So we know that the volume left here is 784 inches cubed. That means 784 cubes, right, of 1 inch by 1 inch could fit in this space, right? So just imagine that, okay? All right. And here's another one using empty space, and we just did a subtraction example like that. So that's what they're going to be using here. So we've covered a addition and we've covered a subtraction. It's the same thing here. This looks a little bit different, but remember what you would do here. I mean, some people might say, oh, well, you know what I'll do? I like this chunk here. I'm going to cut it here and cut it here to make this a piece. You could do that, but then you'd have 3 figures to add together. All right. What I would always try and do is always try and make it. Ooh, I just chose eraser there. I would try and make it into 2 pieces if you can. If not, I mean, you could do 3 pieces. It's the same process, just adding those 3 pieces together. But I would say, okay, I'm going to cut it right here. So we have figure 1 and figure 2. Find the volume here, find the volume here, add that together. You can do the subtractive method here as well. But again, you're going to have some more work. But that's okay. I enjoy doing the math. Some people do. Some people just want the easiest way. So if you did the overall figure, you would have to find the volume of that. You would have to find the volume of these 2 here and here, right? And subtract it from the overall, which you could find through investigating those sides like we did, okay? That's how you find the volume of rectangular prisms that are combined. You can either subtract the kind of imaginary space, or you can add the 2 figures volumes separated, okay? All right, if you have any questions, please email me. Please ask. I'm more than willing to help you. Love to help you. Miss you guys. 5th graders, you're awesome. This is a really tough time, and you guys are proud of you guys for going through it, and we'll come out the other side, and you'll be in junior high, which would be amazing. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a great day.